You know his bold reds. You've seen his dancing blue figures. But what if I told you that behind Henri Matisse's revolutionary art, there was silence, and in that silence, a violin. Before the wild colors, before he led the Fauves, there was a bedridden young man with trembling hands, holding a violin, not a brush. This is not just the story of a painter. This is the story of how music, measured, disciplined, and deeply personal, tuned the soul of one of the greatest artists of the 20th century. Welcome to The Inner Code. Tonight, we explore the hidden harmony behind Matisse's color, how the quiet echo of strings shaped the rhythm of his entire visual world. Henri Matisse wasn't born with a paintbrush in hand. In 1889, at the age of 20, a severe case of appendicitis left him bedridden for months. To help him pass the time, his mother brought him two things: a box of paints and a violin. What began as simple distraction became daily devotion. The violin demanded patience, precision, restraint, and it gave Matisse something more enduring: discipline. Later, he said, "Music and painting are the same. One is a form of silence, the other of sound." It wasn't just music, it was a foundation. The violin shaped his hands before the brush ever did. Matisse believed that a painting should have the internal logic of music. A symphony doesn't just happen, it moves with structure, with rhythm. He painted with that same sensibility. Like a bow across a string, his brush moved with deliberate cadence. His compositions pulse with tempo and repetition. In La Musique, 1910, two women, one singing, one playing the guitar, appear in flat fields of color, not realistic, but harmonious, balanced like a chord. Art historian Jack Flam argues that Matisse used color as a composer uses sound, to build tension, release emotion, and create visual resonance. The violin appears again and again in Matisse's paintings, not as decoration, but as a symbol, a memory. In The Violinist at the Window, 1918, and in Still Lifes Like Violin and Palette. The instrument floats, suspended in space, like the echo of a dream. He no longer played it, but it still played him. To Matisse, the violin represented order. While life was chaotic, music offered rules, structure. And in his wildest works, beneath all the vibrant freedom, there is always a hidden framework, a quiet measure guiding the madness. In the early 1900s, Matisse shocked the art world. He led a group critics called Les Fauves, the wild beasts, explosive color, bold simplicity, total freedom. But Matisse's color was never random. It was musical. He once said, "Color must be thought, dreamed, imagined." Like a symphony, his paintings weren't imitations of reality. They were expressions of feeling. In Red Interior, Still Life on a Blue Table, 1947. He turns an entire room into rhythm. Each object becomes a note. The red becomes tempo. Matisse didn't paint what he saw. He painted what he heard inside. Later in life, illness returned. Surgery left him mostly confined to bed once again. The violin was gone, but his hands kept moving, this time with scissors. His paper cutouts, vivid, lyrical, full of movement, were not random designs. They were symphonic compositions. He called it drawing with scissors. In The Sorrows of the King, 1952, a seated figure holds a violin surrounded by dancing, floating shapes. It is not a lament, it is a crescendo. Matisse once reflected, "I do not paint things, I paint the difference between things." Like the silence between notes. Like the pause before the bow draws sound. Matisse changed modern art. He painted with joy, with freedom, with color that sang. But beneath the wildness, there was always a quiet song. A song he learned not in the studio, but in a sickbed. With a violin, that taught him to listen, to wait, to feel. In a world full of noise, Henri Matisse reminds us, art begins not with vision, but with vibration, with the space between sound and silence, with an inner code. If this story resonated with you, subscribe to Inner Code. Because sometimes the most powerful truths are found not in what is said, but in what is felt.